Hello people, and welcome back to part 23 of Palaven, our vanilla Cities Skylines build. We're having a wonderful day. And we're looking at some little additions from Sunday's live stream here. It was titled a micro detailing session, and of course, staying true to that name, we finished off an entire neighbourhood. So, we are looking at the canal here. So this is the one that feeds through from Palaven. This has not been made historical, that's my mistake, we'll fix that, ignore it for now. Yeah, so on Sunday's stream, we did some little cycle path detailing along the canal that cuts through the land here. And it turned out really nicely, especially at night time. We also added in our first ferry stop, which is right here. There are no ferries currently, but we will be adding them probably next episode. We'll do a big kind of session on implementing and detailing ferry stops rather than just placing them on their own, drawing the road out and leaving them at that. You know, we'll have a little bit of a session designing a couple of different ones like this all across the river. That'll be like our slower detailing episode, I think. Rounded off the Green Cities neighborhood here with some nice little designs. Again, you can check all this out in the live stream. It's Palaven micro detailing session number 3. Did a really nice park along here too. Implemented some pathways to hook into the metro as well. Yeah, and it kind of brought this little head of land to a nice close, which is really sweet. And of course, once we unlock this tile, we'll be able to kind of fill out the rest of this peninsula with some nice designs here. What we're going to do here, I'm not sure. If you guys have any suggestions, of course, please do drop them in the comments. Yeah, thank you for everyone that turned up. We had a really nice time, and it was quite a funny stream as well. I made a bit of a goon of myself as usual. But I think you guys had fun nonetheless. So thanks for the support, thanks for stopping by, really do appreciate it. But we'll get on with today's episode, shall we? So today we're going to be working on Dawson's Waterfront. We've got this kind of big mass of land here that we need to expand into. We also need to factor in the highway as well, because this sky is going to flow over into like a big, probably like a big Y interchange will fit over here. But I think what we're going to do in that regard is we're going to have a bit of an interchanges episode where we work on this one here. Do this one. So kind of like we'll do a rural interchange over on this side to fit in with Dawson. We'll do quite like a dramatic countryside Y interchange over here to hook these two together. And then we'll also rebuild this one as well into something a little bit more impressive. Probably either like a dumbbell or I think we had a comment saying that a double trumpet would probably be too urban for this area, and I do agree with that because they are quite big, quite dramatic. So maybe either a diverging diamond or a dumbbell, yeah, just so it's a little bit nicer. So we'll definitely have like an interchanges episode at some point. But for right now, let's get to work on Dawson's Waterfront, shall we? So we'll take this road network back first of all. And we're going to be doing a lot of terraforming here because we have some super nasty uneven terrain to be working with. So as with any kind of terraforming up against the water, we want to make sure that we're at a sensible height. If you do it too high, it ends up looking a little bit silly that you've got this like really harsh drop off almost like immediately. So we'll probably go with this one right here. I think this should be a sensible height. And we are going to be using keys here as well. And we'll just start taking all this up. Okay, and take some of this out as well. No, this looks super unnatural at the minute, but you know, we'll do some terraforming work to help blend it in a little bit as well. We'll smoothen some of these out. Okay, so if we kind of imagine our main avenue here, that's going to come along the waterfront. We want to be leaving a little bit of room between the water and the road, just so we've got that kind of like detailing boundary to work with. I think we'll bring that up to there for right now. This should give us a nice little baseline to work off. And then what I want behind this is another road. Let's actually go for 5 tiles between. So we'll snap to this one and one more. we're saving 5 tiles between these two roads, right? And then where we've got this last little road here, I then want like another tier on top of that. So we're going for kind of like a tiered, what's the best way for me to describe this here? Like a tiered waterfront. I'm hoping the idea is going to pay off. Because if it doesn't, this recording will get scrapped. So we'll do our best. And we'll just kind of cut out a very similar shape to what we've just done over there as well. We want to make sure we leave room for the highway to flow over this as well, because there's going to be a little bit of an elevated bit. We're a little too close to the zonings here, so let's push that back. And level terrain is our best friend for doing anything like this. Okay, that gives us kind of our second layer. Let's try and straighten it out as much as possible. Terraforming can be a little bit of a wild card when it wants to be. And then I think for this next road on this level here, we'll go for something a little bit like that. Kind of see now, you know, that back road is slightly elevated, and once we've got all our buildings in here, and unique buildings, zoning, part life stuff, we'll see that idea kind of come to life a little bit more, I hope. Okay, so let's make sure we factor in that highway, because he is going to have to flow over here at some point. So I think probably let's come to this road guideline right here, and then we'll come up by 3. And this should leave us enough room to clear what we just put in. A little bit of a dip there, but we can deal with that. We want him to remain the same level, but obviously as he moves towards the water he's going to get higher because the ground is tiered. Exactly what we want. And then come out from that point as well. Wonderful. And then again, as we're kind of crossing the water, moving in intervals of 20 is always a sensible idea. Gives you these nice kind of smooth support beams, suspension cables, whatever you want to call them. And again, another layer of 20 there. Height's still sensible, and then we'll bring this just to an end here so we know kind of we need to connect this up during the interchanges episode, which will be lovely. Okay, so highway's hooked in. We separate a little further out here, like, you know, where highways are basically hugging at this point. As we move into, you know, a little bit higher density, we'll just start to separate them. We will fix these little kinks in the bridges here. A little bit roller coastery, but for right now, as a general frame, it'll be okay, I think. Super, wonderful. Yeah, so we'll look forward to a big countryside Y interchange here, which will be fun. Not done too many interchanges in Palaven, so we'll definitely dedicate an episode to them. Okay, so in terms of kind of key buildings in this, we're definitely going to have some public transport in because we've got the rail line right here. So we'll bring the rail down and introduce a public transport hub. I think we'll go for the train metro hub because we can have the national train line drop passengers off at this and then use the metro to take people to follow the highway into the eventual downtown, which is which is coming one day. Okay, let's kind of have a look where we want this here. Let's come back into our terraforming, make sure we're playing with some even land. Let's go for this point right here. I think having it right by the highway would be nice as well. It's almost nice decoration for the highway too, you know? Kind of seeing this thing as you're driving alongside it. Then we can hook the rail in to this side. Yeah, okay, let's go for that one. So let's make sure that we're actually parallel with the highway before we place it in. There we go. So just snap into the road guideline of the highway. We'll ensure that we are parallel. Okay, that made my life a lot easier. So we just flipped the metro around, so We've now got the metro on the right hand side, and then we've just looped the train line under a little bridge, which will feed back into this interchange at some point. Yeah, so a nice little elevated metro line that's running along here now. It's going to look really nice. I'm very happy, very excited to dive into this. Okay, so let's start painting out some districts, and we can start getting some kind of buildings and nice aesthetic stuff in here as well. So the kind of the first tier we're going to have as green cities. We'll have this go up to that point. Around here as well. And if you guys would like to name the waterfront, of course, get your suggestions in the comments as always. And then we'll bring a second district round to kind of encompass all of this here as well. I think with the top tier, we'll go with green cities. And the waterfront tier we'll have as leisure. Now this should give us two really contrasting styles, but fitting them together should be a nice little challenge. And then again, just to add another layer onto the transport infrastructure, we're just going to terraform out like a little pier where we can place in our ferry stop. Let's bring it out a little bit further. We want to give ourselves more room than we need, so we have room to shape the path, the roads around it that we're going to terraform against, so we can get the keys in as straight as possible. Okay, that should do nicely. Go ahead and grab some dirt roads. We've done this a million times before with our terraforming. I'll kind of explain it again for those that don't know kind of the idea and the technique behind it. Okay guys, so now we have this hideous shoreline cut away. Like, this will come together, I promise. We have to kind of make it ugly first of all. So what we want to do is draw these dirt roads in to the shape that we want the keys to follow. So I'm going to have another one along here as well, right? And I think this is going to be nice for my little ferry port here. So I also want the key to continue out this way as well. So let's terraform a little bit of land just here. That should do. We'll wait for the flooding to go away. And then, yeah, that seems fine as well. Wonderful. So now basically everything on the outside of the dirt road, on the side of the water, you want to come ahead and grab your slope terrain tool. Just come down for like a medium intensity. And then we're just going to slope all of that land up against the dirt roads. Just as so. These corners. All the way along here. You will get an absolute ton of flooding whilst you do this, but just bear with it. It will go away on its own eventually. The water in Cities Skylines is a mini game on its own. So we'll be right back once the water's gone away, and then we can start adding in some keys along this waterfront here. Super. So what we can do is I'm going to kind of show the process here. We'll come into our keys and start kind of deleting chunks here. If we snap onto the road guideline of the dirt road that we've just left in, you can see we can now draw like perfectly straight keys in. And this is basically the process that you want to follow. Take them out, draw in your key, and before you know it, you'll have like really nice straight 90-degree keys. And it will really help with the kind of the look of the area here. So we'll go ahead and finish off the rest of them. Get this one out. Let's actually take them back just a little bit. Up to that one. Take these two out. You can just see we'll snap into the road guideline of those dirt roads. And down here as well. You will get a little bit of a shoreline required message just while the water stabilizes around it before the game reads it as a shoreline again. Super. And there's the last one. It can be a little bit tricky. You know, it's just with the vanilla water mechanics, it can just give you a bit of a difficult time. But stick with it. It's a pretty effective way of getting them in. And then we're just going to come back with our slope terrain tool and make sure that the kind of the slopes of the bank in here are as close to the key as we can get them. Same here as well. And then we can finish this one down here now as well. Take that one out. And then we can come up to here. I've got a really nice waterfront in. Now obviously we need to terraform a little bit under the river because the land's a little bit uneven. Well, the riverbed rather is a little bit uneven right now, so we're kind of getting this almost like waterfall vibe, right? Which is not going to be plain sailing for ferries, you imagine. So let's take away a bunch of the riverbed, level it all out, and then the water will stabilise. It's always fun playing with water in Cities Skylines, isn't it? Never a dull moment. Push it all back, and then we should see a little bit of stabilisation now. There we go, see it's a little more level with the quay now. It will calm down for a little bit as well. So I think I want trams in this area as well. So we're going to have like a waterfront tram line. Let's first of all factor in the ferry stop because we want him to be in first. Let's go ahead and grab that. I think we'll have the ferry stop on its side. That should be quite nice. And then what we'll do is we'll factor in the tram line to stop at the ferry depot as well. You know, we're going to be taking people from the ferry stop, and these people will be arriving from all over Palaven, basically from any contact point on the river, such as this one right here. And then fishing marina as well, over by here too, and eventually the downtown. You know, the ferry network will cover all of Palaven eventually, basically, until we take the 25 Tram mod at least anyway. Okay, we're just going to use the tram only roads. We could upgrade this into a tram road and have it like that. But I think I'd rather keep the large avenue with grass. So with that in mind, we're just going to use the tram only roads and help carry people about that way. So we'll hook the ferry stop into the town so people can arrive via car, and we can do some nice park life stuff here too to help decorate the ferry stop. And then with this, we're also going to have our tram line. That's going to run the length of this place right here. Make sure we take it under the bridge. So already now we can see now so many different layers of transport developing with each other. You can imagine when this is all busy, cars going over, metro going past, people arriving by ferry, trams coming across. It's going to look really nice. Waterfronts can be a little bit of a pain to design, but if you do take your time with them, the reward is really nice. So we'll curve the tram line off at this point, and then we'll then start to cut through all these little layers. And rather than just drawing up like that, I think what we'll do here is just elevate slightly as we come out of this road. So we'll elevate by 5, and then come out like that. You know, like it's super low to the ground, like the bridge isn't even off the ground, but just as it climbs up, you know. You imagine it was like cheaper just to build a bridge rather than to having the civil engineering work of having a raised tram line like that. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but you guys kind of get the point. Okay, and then we'll have a tram line that's parallel with the station here. Bring them off a little bit further, take this one out. And I think what we'll do at this point is we'll now make a little tram roundabout. Then we'll have the tram road come to this junction. Or tram track rather. And then take this one away for right now. And then we can turn this into quite a nice tram park as well. Have people arrive here. Got some elevated zoo paths going over the top to take them back into between. This little tram loop here. And then with the road under this side, we can turn into a tram road. And then I guess at this point, this is where we'll place our tram depot for the area. And then we can now finish off the tram loop right there. I got a really basic, simple tram loop running around the frame of the build here. It should be quite nice. Okay, let's get that tram line in, shall we? So of course we'll have people stop right near the ferries. This is going to be an ideal place. And then, although this one's a little bit close, I do want them to kind of stop in the little gaps here. I think that'd be nice. And then, again, within the roundabout. And then we'll have a stop under the highway as well. Have it right in there. That'd be nice. And then again, you can come round. I also want a tram line to run the opposite direction. Not really necessary. It's very much for kind of more symmetrical purposes, but it'll look nice in the end. Then we can complete that one there as well. So we'll see how trams come out, and just because they're kind of contrasting, we'll make one white and then the other one black. And we'll just start to see them move around right now. Here we go. Kind of get a little view of them as they come past the waterfront here. Yeah, this will start to look really cool. Okay, let's go ahead and grab just a regular road here. And we'll now... This is just a straight line down into Dawson town centre, isn't it? Now we've got all this terraforming here, we'll sort that out, we won't leave it as it is. And then we'll begin to draw in some boxes around this new build as well. Super. So again, just to help decorate the tram line here, I think I'm going to run with an amusement park path with trees. We'll just come to grid and angle. So just angle for this one. We'll come in like that. With a nice layer of decoration, isn't it? Oh, I'm excited for this build. This is going to look great. Okay, let's start getting in some zoning. So of course with the leisure specialisation, which we've already used before, not residential. We're going to be getting a couple of different zonings in here. We're going to go with some low density commercial. And then, of course, because it's specialised as leisure, it's not affected by the low and high densities. We're going to mix in nice little patterns. I think for this one we'll go for a bit of office zoning as well. Along the path on the back, we're going to run a pathway all the way through. We'll have it connect through. We'll have it connect through a couple of places as well. And then again, get some more commercial in. Got some different sizes here. And then, actually, you know what I think we'll do here is let's clear out these two. And then we'll take this road here as well. And let's have a look at a little unique building. Let's see if we can get how about a statue of shop in here? Just so you know, as they're kind of emerging out of the ferry stop here, there's something just to catch the eye. Something unique, I guess is the word. Okay. Then what we'll do is back to all our snapping. Now let's actually make sure we get this right. We're coming down and leaving the one tile gap, is it? There it is. Super. Then we can come down like that. And then we can actually carry on that path design here. Just keep it knitted tightly. It's the network. And then come across like that. Down at the sides. We're hoping to kind of blend in. Give these guys a temporary power connection just so they don't disappear on us. Thank you very much. We are going to carry on working on the border of Dawson as well, because you see it's a very blunt end at the moment. And we'll do this in a live stream. Okay, a little look at this place at night time now. We've got some of these nightlife assets coming in here. Yeah, okay. Can get on board with this, I think. Cinematics are going to be lovely in this part. I can just picture them now. Okay, carry on here. Got a neat building in. Couple little office blocks as well. Of course, these guys don't level up. They are just kind of their own asset, their own entity. Oh, let's try some one-strip leisure commercial and see what happens. Although we don't want this power line here because it is going to fracture our zoning, which is unacceptable. So we'll just follow the coastline here for right now. That should hook everyone in. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay, and then again, this first layer, we want it as nightlife and office zoning. Kind of break the pattern here. I get a couple of little 3x3s in as well. And a 4x4 there too. Let's see. Okay, so this is little tea and biscuits cafe. So a really small asset that we can almost use as detailing. Let's maybe try one even along here. Maybe not there actually. Yeah, because we want to continue our path detailing here, don't we? That's fine. Continue that one up that way as well. Those coming together slowly, I think. Slowly but surely. Let's move the day forward a little bit so we can see a little bit better. And then let's have a look at some plazas, shall we? Let's have a look at some plazas. Let's have a look for... So we could squeeze in one of these. But that's a little bit boring. I don't think we'll do that. I think instead we'll go for some of the park life ones. Now we are a fan of the zoos. So if we're to place a couple in here, and then maybe let's expand out that district as well. So it covers the commercial zoning outside the ferry station. We go for a little 4x3 and touch of office zoning as well. Of course, as we're building a new area here, we want to make sure that the infrastructure is kind of still factored in. So let's kind of go for police station on this corner. Grab a fire station somewhere too, maybe on this side of the highway. Over here. You guys won't... Oh yes, they will sink through. Wonderful, it's very helpful, thank you. Let's move him back onto the road and then he should hook into the ferry stop as well, tram depot as well. Okay, we've got some nice little vibes developing here now, I think. Don't know how I feel about you though. I think we'll leave the office zoning for this bit and just leave it as commercial. Okay, and we can get some nice little repeated tree designs happening around kind of this little blank space that we've got going on here as well. Okay, let's bring some more roads through now. So I think we'll have one that hooks through this direction. And we're still nightlife here, right? Yes, we are. We'll go for big banker commercial. And then we'll grab some of those park life paths to run through the middle as well. Bring it down here. Now to this point. Terraforming's a little janky there. Try that one again. It will just stick to the grid. And then we'll come down. And then yeah, the terraforming's going to mess up here, isn't it? Okay, so I think what we'll do is rather than having that commercial that backs onto what we'll do is, because we're going to transition to green cities here. So let's just get an idea of what that's going to look like with the green cities stuff in this area. And then we'll do some nice transitional green belt stuff between the nightlife and the green cities. We'll have that one come up there as well. Obviously, as this is the end of the train line, We don't need to do too much stuff here to get them tucked in. We'll just do some kind of general path detailing. And then hook in from that point as well. And then just to help give it a little bit of a border, we'll grab like an oil industry fence. You know, people wouldn't just be able to walk onto the back of the train track like this. You imagine it would be somewhat boxed off. We can have our fencing like that. On the edge of the asset, up to here. And then here. And then we can get some little trees in here as well. Rather than leaving them open-ended, give them a little bit of a design. Super, here they come. Here they come. Some people on the tram lines now as well. This circle might be a little bit small. Might increase the height of this. See how they're just kind of lingering their last carriage onto this road? Don't really want that happening. Okay, the Green City stuffer is arriving into the area now. So I do want some zoning within the park here as well. So let's draw out a little road. Again, another big batch of it. I kind of want all the buildings here facing out onto the water. So, you know, our favourite Green City assets appearing here now as well. With the Green City stuff, I'm quite happy to use all these little smaller zonings. Just because you tend to get some nice stuff within the Green Cities kind of arena. Pool is the word I'm looking for. Again, lots more commercial zone in here. Let's take that one away. And that one. And then with those paths again. Not zoo paths. Just the regular ones. And then we can maybe start to introduce some of that old, the old Palaven faithful in here as well. Just to remind us of where we are, right? It wouldn't be a build without any Palaven pines in here, of course. Yeah, okay, it's coming together, I think. Slowly coming together. I think what we'll do is, I want to see some people arriving via ferry, so let's go ahead and grab the ferry depot. And we'll just place this very crudely for right now and hook it in. And then we're going to start drawing out some ferry lines. So we'll go for our freeform. And we'll keep them coming here. And then they'll follow the quay. Keep them in the river. And then hook into this one as well. Of course, we're going to grab some ferry stops. But obviously this loop will eventually run the entirety of Palaven's rivers. Right now, just so we've got some ferries coming out, we can kind of see what that looks like. We can kind of merge into one another here. Turns a little bit sharp there, isn't it? But we can always fudge this up if we want to. You see now people already gathering to go to the ferries. Let's check the other side. Love that little that little 180 turn right through the pier. Yeah, he did it there again, didn't he? It's when they reached the end of the line. Here he comes. Ready? Boom. Okay. Super. At least we've got some ferry activity now. We will have an episode where we run through and go over multiple different ferry stop designs. But for right now, just so we've got something, some kind of like activity on the water, you know, we can see that coming through. Okay, looks like we can move this power line right now off the water. And this might give us a nicer glimpse at what's going on here. Okay, wonderful. 4. Yeah, so I do want some high density residential in here as well. You know, like it's not all going to be waterfront flats, waterfront commercial. Like I do want some waterfront flats in here. And there's a nice asset that's already springing to mind. We'll try and get a few of them in here and see how we feel. Yeah, it's these kind of ones that I'm after. Some nice little waterfront apartments. More historical, these two. These are already quite nice. And yeah, these ones we don't want. Yeah, these ones are fine. These can stay. Sheffield residents. No, actually, I don't think I like that one. So yeah, we're getting a lot of workers just because we've had so much commercial and office space coming at once. There will be a little bit of a shortage, but it's fine. Okay, we need to find a place for this as well. We might actually just stick this down in the corner here. Decorate it with some industrial assets. We'll see what happens. See, we're almost like a very harsh border again here. Everything just ends. So we'll need to form a little bit of a transition into that as well. Yeah, these are cute, you know. These kind of assets that I'm after. And they kind of look nice up against the waterfront here. I think they look pretty good as well. And again, with the space that we've got in the middle of them, you can just come through with some path detailing. Yeah, we actually hit the highway ramps here now, don't we? That's fine though. Let's see if we can actually make this cut through here. Yes, we can. That's nice. So we'll cut back down to the road and then hook in through the middle. And then touch down here as well. And the pillar will be in the way though, won't it? Yeah, that's fine though. Like a little under highway walkway, right? No, that's not too bad looking. And again, with our final little spot of high density residential here, we can continue that vibe. I think now I do want the fire station to be elsewhere. Let's go ahead and throw him near the police station for right now. And then we'll get some more of that stuff in here as well. Okay, so let's grab this for the meantime. Just stick it over here. Do a little bit of terraforming here as well. Too bad. Grab an industrial road. Because we're at quite an industrial asset. Because we're doing very kind of specific builds here, like a quite unique style, I'm going to keep the zonings in a unique format as well. You know, these 4x3s will come in quite useful. And then I guess we can carry on the quay here actually. There's no need to end it at this point. We'll just bring it down. Got space already occupied? Oh yeah, it's the it's that, isn't it? Go ahead and bring these guys. Another little connection. And the space shouldn't be occupied, but the ferry lines do count as a building, of course. And again, bring our water through here. So I think when we start to see too much of a repeated pattern, this is when we'll break something off. So I'm not happy with most of these. These can all go away. These ones are alright. Now let's see if we can squeeze in maybe like a little basketball court here. We're going to be terraforming weird if we do that there. I think we will, won't we? No, it's not too bad actually, to be fair. I think I can deal with that. Cool. Then again, I want to make sure we continue the repeated patterns and the the colour schemes and the assets that we're using in this area, like this little waterfront amusement park path that we're going with. Yeah, okay, it's not too bad. I think I want to try a path. Maybe an amusement without decorations. Yeah. We kind of come out from this point and then up to this corner road. And then let's see if we can find something that we like to sandwich between them. Looks like a little repeated sugar maple pattern here. And then we can continue this along the tram line as well. A little bit of like a red pop along the waterfront too. I think I'm fairly happy with that. Can we squeeze one in this side as well? Looks as though we can. Can we bring it down this side? I think maybe we'll actually have this one as with decorations. So adding to that kind of quite grand. But it does look a little weird with this one now, so I think what we'll do is bring this one a little further up just so it hugs the tram line as the one next to it does. Gives a little bit more importance to the tram line here as well. Okay, we're coming together here, guys. I think we're coming together slowly but surely, of course. These things do take time. But we're getting there. We are going to get there. And now we'll scatter some little playground assets, some little park life stuff around for our Sims here. One's a little bit rancid. See if we can terraform here. A little bit of land. And then put that one up too. Little abandoned building here, it's fine. He'll come back. Oh, the tram line. How are we doing with the train metro? Oh yes, use them. Use the elevated zoo paths, my friends. Yeah, they're all coming in and waiting for the tram. Cool. Very nice indeed. Very nice indeed. Okay, so I think we'll give this a connection up here now too. He will just run parallel with this right now, and I think we're going to upgrade this street into Dawson into another main road. We will lose a few buildings, but the zoning will remain. So they'll come back in, and then as we get further out of Dawson, we'll make those zonings kind of fewer and far between. As the closer you get into town, the busier it gets, etc. You know, all this little infrastructure right here is just temporary until we come to work on the interchange, and we'll add something spicy into here. But for right now, just so they have that connection, and I guess we can hook this in too. Yeah, so what we'll do, guys, is we'll come back in a live stream probably on Sunday, and we'll redesign all this bike path here, create a proper border for Dawson, so it kind of comes to a close. Expand out some residential this side as well, and just so we've got a transition like we've done everywhere else in the map. You know, so we've got kind of this level of detail here as you move between kind of the new build that we're working on, the episode, and the suburb. You know, there is something in between it, like bike paths or green belt stuff, you know. One thing we do need to do is bring the elevated cycleway into the waterfront as well, which we'll do now. So let's go ahead and grab bike path. We're already getting some little folks using the little cycle highway here. So these can travel really far now. They're like heading all the way through here, round through some of the little detail bits we did, all the way over to the ferry stop, and into the cycle network that comes down by the canal. Of course, the cycle roads that are flowing through this part of the suburb too. And then, you know, this kind of joins up with the cycle network all the way over here. And so people can cycle really far across the city now. And we've made sure that we've kept that cycle highway going. Okay guys, that does feel like a good place to jump into a detailing time lapse. We're going to bring some of the old trusty Palaven vibes to this very rancid green space we've got at the minute. Get some new assets in here because these are all a little bit samey at the moment. Yeah, just kind of help this to blend in a little bit more because you can see at the minute. We've got very harsh edges and yeah, stuff like this needs to be sorted out. And continue decorating our little tiny block of high density residential that we've got over here as well. Alright guys, that is going to do it for today. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, a like below is always appreciated. Equally as much if you haven't enjoyed it, please feel free to leave a dislike as well. Really happy with the way this has turned out. The combination of high density residential, nightlife and green city stuff has come together quite nicely, I think. However, we are left with a very harsh border between this waterfront and Dawson, kind of in the top right of the screen here, and we'll definitely come back and work on that in Sunday's live stream. We'll do some nice like cemetery parks there, a little bit of a transitional woodland as well like we did on the other side of the creek, and just help to blend in a little bit better, and we'll definitely work on some interchange stuff as well. But yeah, not too much to say. Nice little unique building in here, and the tram system looks really nice on everyone's flowing. And do hang around for the rest of the outro Taj and check this thing out at night time as well. I'm sure it'll look really good with all the nightlife stuff in there. But I will shut up and I'll leave it there. I want to thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.